I think we said that we boondock quite a bit, and we use a few different apps to try to figure out where we're going to stay each night. Sometimes we have luck finding free places and do get to boondock, sometimes not so much. Tonight we got pretty lucky. We are near Dodge City, Kansas, which is probably like the southeast corner of Kansas, just above the Oklahoma Panhandle. And we are at Ford County Lake, I believe, and we're the only ones here. Of course, it's January and I'm wearing several layers and a hat, but still, we're at a lake with an awesome walking trail, and we are the only ones here. So come along and take a look at it. There's a fence that separates two parts of the park. On our side, I don't know, you could probably see Cupcake up there, is a campground. But then over on that side is picnic area and Steve, and fishing off of the lake on that side. So right here, we're in the middle of the two. It's a little gross, actually. There's a ton of garbage, which is really a bummer. Like right along the lake. Obviously people use it as a shooting gallery because there's bottles that they've buried in the sand and then shot the necks off of, which make me not super inclined to want to cut myself and dig them out of the dirt. We don't really have a shovel or anything, but well, I guess we have our, what do you call that, a poop shovel for the PCT or hiking. That's the only shovel we have. It's a tiny little lightweight aluminum shovel that you use for backpacking, you know, backcountry pooping. Yeah, Steve said cat hole shovel. So now we're coming back. We took that little trail earlier. Now we're coming back, and the lake itself is gorgeous. You can see the campground, lots of open spaces. And we are the only ones here. So I can't remember what highway we're near, but we're going, what is it? 400. Highway 400, going westbound towards, I don't know, Colorado, I guess. That's where we're headed anyway. And mid-January, you get campgrounds entirely to yourself. Kind of awesome.
We returned to Colorado with perfect timing to arrive right before a snowstorm. We've tried diligently to avoid the cold weather and snow this winter, but overall, we've kind of sucked in our avoidance. Luckily, this particular snowstorm only left a few inches of snow on the ground. We recognize, though, that we lack any method to easily remove snow from the solar panels on our roof. I'm not keen on sliding across the roof on my hands and knees to clean off the panels. This is definitely something we need to investigate for the future. So as is often the case with Noelle and I, we are out of time. We're on a time crunch at the moment, but we have to drain our tank. We're in Colorado, and we keep having a problem with our water freezing up. So we're just gonna drain it and not worry about it quite so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off, got a switch down here. I'm going to turn off the water in here. I'm going to hit our pressure release valve. And then I'm going to crack this open.
I'm going to step back so I don't get wet.
So we should have about 6 gallons of water that's going to come out of this. We'll just let that do its thing while we move on to something else. So I'm in the inside the camper now, so I'm going to go ahead and bypass the hot water heater. That's what we were just doing outside. We were draining the hot water heater. Now I'm going to bypass it so that we can then plumb in some antifreeze into the system. So here, let's find the our bypass valve. So the hot water bypass valve is under the kitchen sink. So got this little guy down here. So I'm going to turn him all the way to the top. So that should bypass our hot water heater when we're going to plumb in the antifreeze. So I only want to put in, a gallon, 2 gallons of antifreeze. So if I don't bypass the hot water heater, it's just going to fill up the hot water heater with antifreeze. Hot water heater is 6 gallons, so I really don't need all of that. So our next step will be to actually do the antifreeze. So down here, we've got this compartment hidden under here. We keep like a bunch of extra supplies in here. There, you're getting a bad view, sorry. So this is just a tote that we keep in there. We've got some extra foodstuffs, some towels, that kind of stuff. And then now we're looking down here into, this is our one of our water tanks. So I'm going to turn on this bypass valve. Then I'm going to get the antifreeze. So our next step, we're going to drain the water that we have in our freshwater tank. So when I can look under here, got a couple valves. So now we can see water starting to drain. Got another valve. In the back. It's probably hard to see, but it's there. And we've got another valve down here. So now we are draining. We are draining very slowly. So these are, this is our anode, and you can see it's kind of pitted away. So these are just sacrificial anodes, and you got to replace them about once a year. So probably while we're doing, while I have it out, I'll just go ahead and order a new one, and then we'll replace it when we fill this back up in a few weeks. So it just goes right back in. I can just do finger tight this time. If I can get it to go in. Maybe. It's easier like this. Nope.
Still draining slowly over here.
What was that? What was that?
I said it was still draining slowly over there.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a trick to it. This is our first time, so Steve's learning the trick.
The trick is to use both hands. Okay. So go ahead and close this guy again. It's our pressure relief valve. We're going to leave this turned off. By leaving this turned off, just in case we forget and we turn on the hot water on the inside, nothing's going to happen on the outside.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I got to find this guy.
We're at a dump station. So I just did the black and gray water. I'm not just dumping, even though it's clean water, we're still dumping it at a appropriate place. Next to the car wash because we are filthy from the snow. So it's fine. We Look at that door. Disgusting.
So we've drained the water from our fresh tank. We drained our black water. We drained our gray water. We drained our hot water heater. So now we're going to put in some antifreeze. So I took out our tray over here. I turned the bypass valve in here. So this is a bypass valve that bypasses the hot water heater. Now we're going to put some antifreeze into the system. So I plugged it in, and now I'm going to turn the water pump. And you can see that now it's filling up the lines with the antifreeze. Okay, so if I had left the hot water heater, if I had not bypassed the hot water heater, it would have drained this whole thing. Just going to try to put in whatever to fill up the hot water heater, which is 6 gallons. Okay, so we've got this in now. Now we're going to turn it on in our sink. So we want to do the hot side and the cold side. So that's cold. There's hot. Just by running it in here, this is enough to fill up our P-trap down here. So we have fluid down there. Now we're going to do the same thing in the bathroom with the hot and cold. There's the cold. There's the hot. I'm going to flush the toilet. Toilet's now coming out pink. We're going to do the same thing with our shower. Turn it on. Okay, now it's pink. I'll turn them off. Now our next step is we're going to run the water to our outside shower that we've never actually used, but that's just part of the winterizing process. So I'll meet you out there. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flush out our auxiliary shower, which we've never actually used. So I don't even know if this is necessary. Well, I think I turned it on once. Like, did it actually work? But never used it. So let's see. Okay. Whew. Alright, so there was hot. And I'll do the cold. And actually, when I don't know if you probably couldn't see it, but when I turned on the hot just then, it was clear water coming out. So there was water in this line. It's pink.
I think so.
Okay. That's it.
It doesn't smell great. It smells chemically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pink.
So I think that's about it for our inaugural run of trying to winterize the camper. We used just about a full bottle of the antifreeze. I'm going to pour the rest somewhere between the kitchen sink and the toilet.
Cameraman sneezes.
Yes, we have sound effects from the cameraman. Now the cameraman laughing. Our problem, and it certainly we'd be interested to hear from other, RV owners. So when we bought this, it was, supposed to be like a 4-season camper. And what we found going out, living in it the last, few months, I guess, in colder weather, even when we have the heater going on the inside, we're still having problems with the water pump freezing up. So we were keeping our temperature like 55, 60 degrees on the inside during the day. Maybe the day we're a little bit higher. Maybe during the day we had it 65 to 70 if we're in the camper. If we were driving somewhere, we'd set the temperatures around 50, and we're still having problems with it freezing. So now, being in Colorado Springs for 2 weeks, it's just kind of, we've got a lot going on with family, so it's just easier for us to drain it, take the half hour, whatever it's taking us to drain it, and then just not worry about it so much, freezing up every night and cracking lines. So we'll let you know if it works for us. If you have any questions, please don't ask us. Join us next week when the temperatures outside drop into the minus 20s. Our camper batteries give up the ghost, and our soda cans in the refrigerator start rupturing and spraying their sticky goodness.